We might.
There we go. That time it worked. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to a very altered state version or edition of Living World of Darkness.
Maybe we should enchant you. It seems appropriate.
It does seem appropriate. This scene takes place with the mage and changeling menus. Maggie has been working with a bit of a pep in her step as of late. She couldn't really put a finger on why, but she's been a little bit happier than she's been in a while. Sort of almost distracted from the fact that one of her friends recently passed away. And this newfound sort of enjoyment of life has inspired her. And so she spends much of the day and the day previous painting. And as she is working, she decides maybe I should have someone over. So as she pulls out her phone with her clean hand, well, relatively clean hand, not covered in paint, she sends a text to someone she met only a few days ago. Text to someone by the name of Brandy. Just simply reads, "Hey, yeah, just working on some new canvases. If you want to come by, I'd love to have some coffee." And she'll snap a photo of sort of her hands covered in paint, sort of gives a silly smile, and then sends an address. And then she waits to hear back.
Yeah, Brandy was actually, I don't know, she was pretty bored, actually. She came home from work and she was just kind of not really feeling the whole trip to the studio at this point. So she had actually just sat down and flipped on some brainless TV. It was probably like Say Yes to the Dress or some crap. And she gets the text. She's still wearing her work clothes, so they're all very, very blah. And she looks at her phone, kind of smiles for a second, looks around her roommates who are starting to get a little bit loud in the kitchen, some sort of argument over what they should put on the pizza they're ordering, and makes a quick decision. And she sends back, yeah, sure. Why not? My roommates are kind of crazy. Then she looks at the address and she adds, I could probably be there in, I'm just gonna make a number up, 45 minutes.
She'll send back a very large thumbs up.
Okay.
And then send another picture of her giving 2 thumbs up.
And she will actually run into her room, change into like this kind of long flowing kind of, but it's like batik. I don't know if you know what batik is, but it's sort of a hippie-ish kind of dress, but not, it's
Believe it
not
or not,
tie-dye.
believe it or not, I actually have a Batika print.
Okay, well, she has a dress of that. This way I don't have to define it to you. It makes me happy. And she changes into that, and again with the boots. And she grabs actually like a light jacket, throws over it, and kind of just actually grabs keys and money and whatever else, and heads past her roommates, including her sister, who is actually in the midst of this argument over whether there should be mushrooms on the pizza. And she just kind of waves and says, "See you guys later," and like bolts before anybody can ask any questions. She doesn't want to give an opinion about mushrooms. She doesn't care. so so yeah, she's gonna head over there, and we can probably move time forward at that point.
When she comes to the building, it's sort of one of those middle class, like upper middle class apartments. It's actually in a fairly nice part of town. Um, it has the hints of it, being a brownstone in some form, or at least it tries to be in appearance, but without the brownstone price, as they are apartments. And yeah, her there's a name on there that says MK and uh, KS on the actual call button at the intercom.
Well, she doesn't know who KS is, but MK is pretty clear since she has a card. So we'll just go with that. And yeah, she'll go ahead and hit the button. Makes a little fun little buzzing sound.
And about 3 to 4 seconds later, there's a yes.
Hi, MK. This is BM, which sounds really, really bad. Can I come up?
Yeah, hang on. And she'll hit the buzzer.
And she'll grab the door. And yeah, I just realized what her initials had.
There's really no good way because you could go BF and still.
But and you would have no idea what that meant. Her card definitely doesn't say that.
Let's see. Maggie lives on the 12th floor, so it is a bit of a hike unless you take the elevator.
She's not worried about the hike as much as just whatever's convenient is what she'd do.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of really tall buildings in New York, you know?
Kind of got to get used to it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, she probably, yeah. So whatever's convenient is what she'll take.
Right. Well, when she comes up to the 12th floor, she'll see that the apartment on the end of the hall actually has the door just propped open ever so slightly, and the smell of.
Paints and turpentine?
Actually, there's more of a smell of food coming out.
Oh, food is good. That's a much better smell, really.
So, yeah, door's kind of left there, slightly open.
Well, follow the scent of food. That's always a brilliant plan. You might
When
be
she,
walking into a Redcap's kitchen, but whatever.
yeah, Hansel and Gretel, that whole thing.
Right, right. It's all good.
um, when Brandy comes through the door, she'll see that the walls actually have a plethora of canvas paintings on them, going everything from surreal to cubism to landscapes to portraits. Um, there's even some very stylized, like anime or even sort of like big superhero pictures. There's like one really detailed picture of Spider Gwen because Maggie loves that character.
Mhm.
And there's a few candles lit, and of course they're pumpkin spice candles uh,
Because cliche this time of year.
cliche this time of year.
Awesome. Yeah, she's actually
And
not gonna walk straight in. She was pretty much gonna kind of knock on the door and peek in.
oh, okay. When there is a knock at the door, Maggie just kind of shouts from the back room, "Come in."
Okay. And she will.
And sit down on the coffee table. There's like a bowl of Tostitos chips and like a block of cream cheese with salsa. dripped over it.
Interesting.
It's actually really good. um, and there seems to be something in the oven that sort of smells kind of like appetizer slash snack food.
As long as it's not Callie burning down the kitchen with pizza rolls.
It's not.
Okay, good. Um, yeah, she's just gonna kind of go try to find the person.
You'll hear from the back bedroom. I'll be out in just a minute.
Okay, then she will sit down.
Um, Brandy might notice that there are, well, sort of on the TV stand, because she actually has one of those old TV units with a flat screen set inside of what used to be for like a tube TV.
Mm-hmm.
And within that, obviously there's DVDs and all that sort of stuff, but there's also a lot of pictures of herself and people you might can assume are her parents, and quite a few of a young man with sort of bleach blonde hair.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she'll glance, but she's not trying to be nosy. You know what I mean? It's not like it's one of those things that you're okay. I'm curious, but not not gonna. Yeah, she'll just sit there and she will sit there and wait.
about 5 minutes passed, and finally, Maggie steps out, and she's kind of wearing a pair of like jean shorts and sort of what looks to be a black tank top with a white, like a white blouse, kind of tied in a knot, just over her midriff. And she smiles as she sees Brandy.
Hi.
Howdy.
You have a nice place here. I like it. It's very high up, but exercise never hurt anybody.
Yeah, it's not a bad place. I still got, like 6 months left on the lease, but I actually don't live here, at least full time.
Right. Well, you told me that you had a studio that you kind of did separately.
I do. And then I
So,
have another place where I live with roommates where they're just all crazy. This is kind of my safe haven, if you will.
oh, so you actually understood what I was talking about then with the crazy roommates.
More than you know, she says with a great deal of emphasis.
Well, I live with my sister, and well, we have two other roommates, and they were arguing over whether to put mushrooms on the pizza. I had to run. I had to.
Wow, mushrooms that bad?
Now, no, it's not whether the mushrooms are on the pizza that's the problem. It's the fact that they were arguing. They've been arguing for 20 minutes over whether to put mushrooms on the pizza.
Wow, there must be some very strong personalities in that house if they're willing to argue over mushrooms for 20 minutes.
I don't know. I think Becca might have just been bored. I really have no idea. I don't know why she felt this need to do this, but not worth fighting about. So not worth fighting about. So I left.
They do know
Thank
that
you.
you can get a half and half, right?
I'm pretty sure.
This will
They're
suck a little
college
bit.
students. I hope so.
So, how have you been?
Good. Good. I've been working on some experimenting a little bit in sculpture lately. I'm not sure how successful I've been, but trying. I'm probably my own worst critic.
I think most of us are.
Yeah, that's possible too. But There's one, and if I say the wrong thing here, you can. Well, I'll figure it out later. I'll let you know.
Mm,
There's one pelican I made a while back, but that's probably the best thing I've made.
pelican.
Yeah, gave it to a friend who apparently really wanted a pelican.
That's an interesting gift.
If that's what they want, isn't that the point of a gift? You give them what they want,
It
not what
is.
you want.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the idea of somebody wanting a pelican sculpture. It's a first
It's in
for.
a, it's in his garden.
Oh, maybe he's a real big fan of the sea.
Maybe it was some kind of bird. I can't remember what it was now. Damn it.
It's either pelican or crane. Out of
Yeah,
character.
if you're thinking of the thing I'm thinking of, because it's megas.
Yeah.
Friend is an appropriate word now. Um, yeah, but that was a while ago. I finished that, I don't know, a few months ago. I always come back to painting for some reason. It just seems to be where my heart is. I just experiment with other things and different media, and it doesn't always work out, but better than getting stuck, right?
I've actually started looking into digital animation myself. It seems like a pretty interesting field, and it fits well with my major. So,
What is your major?
art history.
Hmm.
Not to be too cliche.
So do you want to make art, or do you want to know about art?
Kind of both. I think that there's a part of me that would really like to be like a curator at an art museum someday.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. I was just wondering. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do. It's more. I was just curious what your goals were. I can't seem to really make many goals for myself other than to make enough money to not live at home. My goal might be to have my own place someday.
Are your parents kind of overbearing?
No, no, I like my independence.
I can understand that. I moved out the day I turned 18.
I wait a little bit longer, but yeah.
Yeah. I could have waited. My parents weren't like in any rush to kick me out the door, but I just wanted it so bad that when they saw how much I actually wanted to move in with the person I was seeing at the time, they couldn't say no. Actually, now that I kind of think about it, they never really told me no. At least not nearly enough.
Is that a critique on your parents?
Yeah, it's a critique on me.
No, I'm asking because that's actually a possible problem with parents, right? That they didn't tell you no enough.
What I find more interesting is the fact that I actually think about that now and actually wish they had told me no more often.
That's why I was asking. Why do you why do you think that? Like why do you think that it's important?
She ponders it for a minute. I did a lot of things growing up. Some of them I'm very proud of, other things not so much. And I got myself into some sticky situations growing up. I don't know. I think I probably should have been told more often than I was, just simply on the fact that I had a pretty free reign, and I think it took me a long time to actually sort of adjust to actually living as an adult in the city.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my family just kind of, they promoted independence. I mean, I might be living with, it feels like far more than my 3 roommates, but yeah, at least right now. I mean, the problem, really, the problem is when you like, well, for them, like this, they actually have to study sometimes. But sometimes the whole place is just like one big party, which is cool. I like a good party. But sometimes, sometimes it'd be nice not to have the party there every minute.
I can actually appreciate that pretty well. So I definitely see your point. After a while, you just kind of start to get tired of everyone always being over there all the time and always having to put on your social hat.
At least I have my own room. I can go in there and well, do whatever it is I want to do. But you can still hear what's going on out there, so it's not like it's any real shock.
Well, I'm sure that you never want for any sort of social interaction.
No, not even a little bit.
Uh, would you like a glass of wine?
Yeah, sure.
Maggie will get up and stroll into the kitchen, pick out 2 of the sort of those non-stemware type vino glass
Yeah.
and put 2 bottles. I have a Malbec and a sangria.
She will just be like, actually that one I think. And she'll point to the sangria. If you don't mind.
She'll give Brandy an appraising look for just a moment before nodding with approval.
If I recall, Malbecs are really dry and icky, aren't they?
They can be.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She's definitely more of a sweet kind of girl.
So she'll pour out 2, reasonable glasses and set one down in front of Brandy as she plops back down on the couch with kind of a smile and kind of curls her legs up onto the cushions. So, tell me a bit about yourself. I mean, how'd you get involved in like the gallery?
Just your basic, I've needed a job kind of story, and I started looking for jobs. It just kind of came up in honestly, it came up on Craigslist when I was looking through it one time, and I was looked at it and I was like, I will never get this job. It is too much in my area. You never get the job you actually want, kind of thing. And then I mean, I had some experience as like a receptionist and stuff, but God, that's just drained your soul. You know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I don't. I've never worked a day in an office environment.
Ugh, don't. It's awful. Um, but it was either that or I was gonna have to move back in with mom and dad, or not with mom and dad, more with my mom, honestly. And I just, I found that I applied, I interviewed, and I got lucky. That's what it boils down to for me. Yeah. So, and it's not like it's actually all that art oriented, but at least I'm surrounded by it. Like I spend a lot of time like describing things and just trying to get a feel for what people really are looking for when they come in. Because most people have something they're actually looking for, even if they don't realize it. It's more of a salesperson kind of thing than anything else, but it helps when you actually do it yourself because you sound like You sound like at least you know what you're talking about, even if you don't.
Authoritative, I think is the word.
Yeah, you'd probably sound better than me just because, your whole fancy art history thing.
Eventually, you may get to know this about me, but I'm actually kind of awkward in social situations, at least with more than two people. Like I called this woman's babies a tumor one time by accident. It was horrible.
She just stares at her like her jaw actually drops a little bit. Why would you do that?
It it was uh, okay. I try to usually break social anxiety with sort of quips and humor every now and then, and so I was more or less of the mindset of, well, either you're pregnant or you have a massive tumor, and I don't think the latter is the case. And then it went all downhill from there.
On a woman with pregnancy hormones.
Believe it or not, she didn't get that upset. Not as upset as I thought she might have went after I said it. Kind of one of those things where you say it in your head and you're sort of, as it's traveling down to your mouth, you're like, no, 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 no. And then it's too late. You said it and you can't take it back.
That usually happens to me mostly when I'm drunk.
I
Was
can
there
do it while
drinking
I'm
involved?
sober. There was not. I was completely and totally sober, so I have a unique skill, it would seem.
Apparently you do. Maybe we should teach you some etiquette. Things like don't call anybody's children tumors.
I didn't call them a tumor per se. I was just trying to make conversation.
Conversation about tumors?
No, just the fact that like she was really pregnant, like really pregnant, like rotund. Like, her frame was still
You just
very.
called Eve fat. Thank you.
She's trying. See.
That was out of character. See all the fingers.
She'll try to elaborate. It's just like she had still a very nice frame, but her belly was big. So I just
Women do that when they're pregnant.
I I'm aware of this.
Some people even find it beautiful.
I I wasn't saying it wasn't beautiful. I'm just I'm still getting grilled by the situation and you weren't even there.
Well, you're the one who brought it up. It is a very awkward thing, and I think you've proven your point.
We seem to have made up. I mean, I don't have her phone number or anything, but we talked and I met her husband, and told him, please tell her I give her my sincerest apologies.
Well, that's good. At least you try to make up to when you do weird things. As she looks a little confused.
I don't like upsetting people. It's not my intent to go into a conversation and make somebody upset. But I still find a way to do it despite myself.
Well, we'll just go back to the previous thing and just talk about all of the wonderful talents that you have, evidently.
Well, you've seen the art. Um, oh, I'm a really good skateboarder.
I've never tried that before. It wouldn't work very well in a dress like this, I don't think.
You can skateboard in just about anything. You just kind of have to.
She kind of gestures to the skirt, which is like around her. Sitting down, it's covering her feet.
Mhm.
Standing up, it's just barely. It's at her ankles. She's just kind of like, wouldn't this not get caught in the wheels?
Depends on the skateboard, and you could always hike it up just a bit.
I could, I suppose. I don't
Should
know.
let
I've
me.
just never tried it. I'm not sure how balanced I am. And I don't mean mentally. I mean like physically.
You
Although
should.
mentally is a good question too. Really, you don't really know me very well.
And yet here you are in my house.
True. So which one of us is the dumb one?
Hmm. Well, you're not going to hold me down and peel my skin off so you can wear it, or throw me into a hole and tell me to put lotion on my skin?
I seriously hope not, but you never know, I guess.
Maggie pauses, kind of looking at
You
Brandy.
did it.
I know, I know, I did it.
Oh, Brandy goes for sheer innocence in her appearance at the moment.
Maggie will sort of just shrug and chuckle. If you wanted to, I could teach you how.
So, what, the lotion on the skin thing? Because I can pretty much do that on my own.
I can sort of teach you that if you want, or I could teach you how to ride a skateboard.
It's probably better. Makes a
I
little
can.
more sense than the other thing, considering the reference you were actually making.
Well, if you start to hear goodbye horses, and if I ask you if you'd like to fuck me, run.
Wow. I've had people ask me that before, but not in this conversation. Not in this type of conversation. I will
Well,
keep that in mind.
but only if you hear the music. If I ask any other context,
Then I'm free to react as I will.
react as you may.
Got it. I will keep that in mind. She kind of grins at her.
Maggie will take a sip of the sangria, and then just kind of look at Brandy and. So, what are your talents outside of obviously art and pointing out gross the gross inequities in someone's social approach?
Well, I think I'm pretty good at avoiding responsibility.
It's not a bad skill.
Yeah. I mean, Becca doesn't really like it so much. She thinks, that I need to grow up, but I don't see why that's necessary.
Someone
I
once
like
told me a long time ago that Maggie, you do have to grow up or grow old, but you don't necessarily have to grow up. I like to live my life by that saying, I think.
Then you probably should not meet my sister. She's a big proponent of the "we must all be grown-ups" theory. So,
That sounds dull and boring,
I don't think she's
stressful.
boring at all. There are times when she can be as wild as the rest of us. It's just she likes to think that those are the appropriate times for that, I guess.
So not one for living by the seat of her pants, then.
Not as much as me. Or in my case, by the seat of my dress.
Which is actually very nice.
The,
Batika?
the, yeah, and I wasn't sure if you meant the seat or the dress.
She'll kind of shrug up and hold up her hands. Why not both?
She actually laughs. I mean, that's all meant as a joke, obviously. Yeah, I mean, I this isn't something you're gonna find at the gallery, obviously, but like I like going to like art shows and things like that, or those kind of craft shows kind of things. I'm one of those people that will actually go there and buy the stuff that people have handmade. That's where I got this. So it's actually kind of unique.
I think most of the things you find at a craft show are pretty unique. It's like kind of
Yeah,
like going
exactly.
to a flea market.
Yeah, except that they make the stuff. It's not just old crap that nobody wants.
I don't know. I've been to several flea markets when I was visiting family down in Pennsylvania, and their indoor flea markets are amazing.
Well, I haven't been to Pennsylvania, so I guess I'll have to trust your word on that one.
You should really go there sometime. It's actually really beautiful in some places. Stay away from Philly.
Well, I mean, I live in New York, so another big city. Seen it. And if I think that I'm gonna say I've probably seen the best of it and the worst of it.
I don't know. I've never been really afraid of this city, at least. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go walk down in Harlem in the middle of the night, but
Well, there's some things that are just stupid to do.
this is true.
Certain places we shouldn't go.
Yeah. She'll kind of take a contemplative look as she sort of thinks about all the places that she's been and the one or two that she probably shouldn't show her face in again.
It's okay. Brandy's thinking things like Central Park. That's what she's thinking. Um, I've been hearing rumors about the Bronx having some unsavory people. um, hmm. But yeah, that's not what she says. She just kind of,
The basic LWoD starter pack.
pretty much. She's been living in New York long enough that she should know these basic things. In fact, she grew up here, so yeah. There are some parts of the city that they're just not very nice.
Yeah, this is true.
If you're gunshots, most of the time it's best to hide as compared to actually go out and see if anyone needs help. And I'm not saying it's the nicest thing, but it's reality.
Hmm. Honestly, I don't know if I would go towards gunshots or not. I probably wouldn't, all things considered, and she'll kind of rub the side of her head.
She kind of watches the movement oddly, like because that's an odd move with the conversation. So she's now a little curious, but doesn't quite know how to ask the questions. So.
Oh, Maggie did tell her that she got shot in the skull.
Oh, right. Okay, that's fair. Because I'm like going, that's weird. Okay. Yeah. So you didn't have any lasting effects from the whole gunshot thing?
Um, Believe it or not, I was in a coma for like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That had to be weird to walk out and find out that your iPhone is totally outdated.
I was used to that already.
I'm just kidding. I hope you realize I'm just joking here.
Um, it wasn't. I guess the worst thing was trying to work out the memories, so to speak. Things that happened like right before it, leading up to it, and of course, the event itself. So
So they were blurry.
a little bit. They were. Some of the things are very vivid. Every now and then, I get a glimpse of those when I sleep, or
Like
and
nightmares?
she'll not.
That's tough. Those can be pretty rough.
I've learned to deal with them at least in some measure. Though I've had a few moments where I've had complete and total meltdowns before. Actually, wasn't it was almost like right after I called this lady Eve's baby's a tumor. I had kind of just a full blown panic attack.
Out of character, I'm gonna just mention here that, like, yes, in fact, she would know of Countess Eve because she has enough prestige to know that a lot of people know who she is, but that's not enough information to assume anything.
It's
So
only fair.
yeah, I'm just mentioning because it does make sense. I've seen her prestige. Trust me, I know. Um, she's gonna nod, and I mean, does that happen a lot when you have that kind of an overreaction?
After I woke back up, it was almost daily. There was really not too many nights that I could actually sleep without being sedated. But as time progressed, things got progressively better. And I guess after the funeral, well, the service I went to anyway, I started working things out, kind of coming to grips with what had happened.
And you're still here,
I am still
which
here.
which means you're still fighting.
It gets better every day. At the same time, I find it gets a little bit harder to remember some of the things I lost. Like, a voice, sort of a smell of another person, or the sound of his keys when he would walk.
I take it you lost somebody in this accident? From this shot?
She grimaces when you say accident, but she doesn't linger on it. My boyfriend at the time, Keith, was shot. And she shrugs. He didn't make it.
Did they catch who did this?
She'll chew on her lower lip. And I forget what her manipulation is.
Is it time for me to figure out my perception empathy?
Might be a good idea.
It's okay. I know what I've been doing with this sort of thing.
Okay. Oh, wow. She'll say with kind of an
Ouch! Sorry. That was some bad dice.
How bad was
One,
it?
6, 10, 1, 1, 4.
Ooh.
Did it not pop up?
I didn't. If you cleared it quickly, I didn't see it.
I didn't clear it, but I don't see it on my screen.
I don't either.
Okay, well, it's okay. It's only, yeah, I obviously got no successes, so.
Maggie will kind of she'll kind of shrug. Yes and no. He's been he was put in a position that he can't hurt anybody anymore.
And I'm just going to give her kind of a considering look at that. Because that is a very weird way to put that. It doesn't sound like jail or prison.
The last I saw, he was going to prison.
And what
And
about after you saw? Forgive me if I'm being too direct, but that was a strange way you put that.
um she like runs her tongue over her lips and chews on it again. I haven't really looked into what happened to him um, after all this. He
Fair enough.
I try not to get too involved in it now. Not after sort of justice has been served, I guess, in a way. Like, I don't think he'll ever go down for killing Keith, but he's in a position for where the world can see him for what he is.
And you're satisfied with that?
She'll kind of offer a scoff, not even trying to hide it, as she clearly does not approve.
That's what I was guessing. I understand that, though. Sounds like that bastard took something from you that can't be replaced.
He. Keith. Keith was a good guy. I think you might have liked him. He was fun loving and always had a really good sense of humor. He always knew how to make somebody laugh just by looking at him. And he could throw a quip out better than Robert Downey Jr.
Faster than. Have you ever seen Lost Girl?
I must admit, I haven't.
I was just gonna say faster than Kenzie can throw out some sort of one-liner, but watch it sometime.
It's on Netflix, right?
I think so. Totally worth the watch. Just be prepared for a lot of succubus sex.
Maggie will consider it and shrug. I can think of worse ways to spend a Thursday night or Wednesday night.
I'm just mentioning it. You know, it's one of those things that people should know before they go into something. If they're
Well,
not
isn't
okay
it?
with that.
Isn't it a network show?
It's actually started on Showcase, which is like Showtime, but can't Canadian.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. Like, for some reason, I thought it was like network cable.
Well, it is now. Like here in the States, it's it's on Sci-Fi, and it's slightly dulled down a little bit. as I understand it.
I think that it would. I think that it would have to be to be on
I
Sci-Fi.
Yeah, I'm guessing so too. I've never seen the other version though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all they take out is maybe a few words and probably some of the nudity.
I know there are some people that would argue that's the best part.
That's true. There are people that would argue that.
I think there's enough skin going out there on TV these days, like Game of Thrones. Good lord.
Well, that's probably what some people watch for. Like you said about Lost Girl.
I sat down and actually tried to watch it with Keith, and I really wasn't into it too much. And then the Red Wedding happened, and that sort of blew my mind because I knew enough that I was like, that's a main character. And they're just icing it. He was supposed to win.
Yeah. Well, in the case of Lost Girl, it's like it's not actually. I don't know. It's just I mean you have to. Some of the fight scenes are super cheesy, but you just kind of have to get past that point and pay attention to the world. The world's really cool, but Bo and Kenzie are hilarious.
I like anybody who has the name Bo.
It's a short for Isabeau, I think is the name. Yeah, there's actually a character out there whose name is Isabeau.
Can't be any worse than Marjorie or Brandy, right?
I don't know. I'm not bothered by my name. It totally makes sense coming from my mom.
Yeah, you were telling me that before.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I wasn't going to go into the whole story, but it just makes sense. Like I can tell that I am my mom's child based on my name.
What's she like?
She is a really. I'm trying to find the best way to describe her. She is a free thinker. Um, she raised us to be that way too. I'm not quite sure how Becca turned out how she did, but whatever. Um, and she's all about live and let live. She probably did. You know how you were saying how you thought you should probably be told no, should have been told more as a child. I,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure I'm one of those kids that probably wasn't told no enough, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
You seem to be well adjusted enough, at least at first contact.
It's just how my family works. And yes, there was a deeper meaning to that out of character if you wanted to try to catch it.
I can roll perception and empathy if you want.
Or we can just say that you caught it. I'm not that picky.
Okay.
That's just the idea that she means family in a bigger sense than normal.
Hmm. Maggie will sort of look at Brandy with a more discerning eye. You're not like part of a cult, are you? She says with sort of an obvious sort of jest, but there might be just a slight hint of actual like, nah.
You mean like the family with a capital F?
Mm-hmm.
No. No, I'm not.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm good. But we've already had the discussion about orgies, so that is kind of a cultish kind of thing sometimes, right?
Yeah, I know. I think I still have some cloaks from Halloween costumes of years past. If you really wanted to
Want to
go
get
out on the town and find one.
a cult or an orgy? I'm not sure which.
Again, she'll raise up both arms. Why not both?
I don't need a cult, thank you. So, wow, that's definitely some TMI right there.
I don't even know where to begin to look for something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure they like have a sign up that says cult or us.
We'd like to talk to you, or do you have a moment or can we have a moment of your time to talk about Lord Cthulhu?
Yeah, but if that's the cult, I'm running away.
Yeah,
Just saying.
I don't think it ever ends well for those cults.
But if I see one for the flying spaghetti monster, I will consider it.
Flying spaghetti monster.
Yes.
Do tell.
Not much to tell. I'm just seeing that there's some sort of, I think there's actually some sort of website about it. About the cult of the flying spaghetti monster. I think it's actually some internet banality. Because if it's real, I think we might have to kill ourselves.
Flying spaghetti monster. I
Yeah.
don't know whether to be terrified or hungry.
Well, did you ever play Pokemon?
Yes.
Do you remember the Tangela?
Tangela, yes, I do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I picture it.
One of the more useless Pokemon in the game.
Well, yeah, but that wasn't really the point though. It was just more that's the image I get in my mind.
Fair enough. Flying
Which is the point. Why exactly would we want to worship a flying spaghetti monster?
because he has good garlic bread?
If he had garlic bread, I wouldn't worship him. I would just eat the bread.
I think it's really good garlic bread.
What did they put in the garlic bread? Is it like the killer Kool-Aid?
Maybe it's, I don't know, cocaine or something.
Mm, well, only if it's the best cocaine.
I don't even know if you can get high off of eating cocaine. I'm pretty sure you have to snort it.
Maybe we should do some research.
There is a definite sort of rigid. Need to be a little more sober to say some of these words. There's a certain erectness to Maggie's spine when Brandy says that. It's very noticeable.
Did I say something wrong?
Not particularly if you.
I was only joking. I don't even know what if I'm confused.
Apparently, I am too.
No, seriously, what was that?
I
If I
just.
said something wrong, I'd want to know what I said.
Actually, you really didn't say anything wrong. It's just if you were interested, I can. Some stuff left over. I don't know if that's your bag or not.
It's not so much that that's the problem. It's more that I don't want to waste cocaine by like cooking it and then discovering that all it did was make the food taste bad.
That's not exactly what I had in mind.
Well, we were talking about experimenting, so
Well, technically, it's not cocaine. It's something a little bit more highbrow, but
well, come on, let's be addicts. Let's do it.
she'll raise a brow and sort of see if that was kind of a real invitation or not.
What the weird invitations for someone to actually say, "Let's be addicts." No, she was joking, but she wasn't entirely averse to the idea of doing something illegal like that. That wasn't the problem. It was just more like, how uncouth. Yes, we're going to be addicts today.
Maggie will shrug. Don't judge. Maybe some of them, a small percentage, may have very fulfilling lives.
I don't have a problem with whatever choices people make. If they want to drink, they want to get high, they want to do some kind of, I don't know, some kind of crazy magical dust that they have to sniff up their ass. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I have a little box full of assorted goodies from days when we used to party a lot harder.
Wow. Are you old now?
No, it's just kind of my duo went to a Uno.
Hmm. That makes me a little bit interested and curious, but I assume if you want to tell the story, you will.
Well, there's not much to tell. I mean, Keith and I used to recreationally do things every now and then.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was about him. I'm sorry. I thought you maybe rent somebody else.
I'm
Maybe.
afraid that most of my friends are pretty straight-laced. I have one or two that are down to party. It's just that their families, so to speak, are very rigid. And if something were to happen, I think it might come back on me. And there's obviously more hidden meaning, just as when Brandy said family, Maggie's sort of implying very much the same thing.
She catches that, and kind of one eyebrow just kind of goes up, and yeah, since I kind of forgot about the wine, we'll just say that she's just about out of that glass. She wasn't like trying to going for the full on. Let's get drunk on wine. Right at the moment. She was just drinking wine. Um, and she just kind of, hmm. It seems there are a lot of different kinds of families, aren't there?
In this city, more than you probably know.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people around here that have very close ties to one another, and she'll shrug a bit. I've met more than my fair share of very close-knit groups in this city.
Cults?
I don't think so. I mean, there was definitely a happening party scene down at, and she'll say the name of Val's bar, but I wouldn't exactly call it.
I can't even remember what it's called now.
But that's the one she's referring to.
Okay.
I wouldn't exactly call that a cult. They did know how to party.
I'm gonna say it makes a lot of sense that she would know about that place, actually, because of who it's owned by. So that's actually, she's just gonna, you've been there.
Yeah, I have.
Been there a few times myself.
It can be a little odd. Definitely a very interesting crowd of people. Characters, all of them.
That's kind of been my experience as well. But somehow I seem to fit in.
You ever get the sense like there's something more going on there? something that you can't really see or touch, but you just know it's there.
Yeah, except I'm pretty sure I can see and touch it. She kind of smiles.
She'll sort of sit back and kind of cock her head to one side. And I will roll for this.
It's fine. It was a total open, obvious sort of thing.
I know.
At least to you. She doesn't know that it is.
hmm
But obviously, I know out of character to you. Yeah.
How much
What are you
empathy?
rolling exactly? Or just the
Um,
empathy?
just the empathy. Not my greatest dice pool. Up 3 successes.
Yeah, I mean, she seems to know quite a like she knows more about the situation there than she's saying. And she totally feels like she fits in.
Given the fact that she has sensed a multitude of people firing off special abilities in that place, she'll
Has she narrowed down what type of people?
no. Not at all. She just knows that they're night folk. She'll kind of reach down and grab one of the napkins sitting on the table, and she'll just kind of start to draw on it as she kind of stands up. Would you like some more wine?
Um, she looks at her glass that has like a sip in it. Yeah, actually, sure, thank you.
And she'll, as she walks over, she is going to roll her arete. It'll be difficulty, it's 2 plus 3, so difficulty 5.
She has no effects on her at the moment, for the record. I don't know what you're trying to figure out, but
She's more or less with, oh wow. She'll make sort of with life, make a slight alteration to the color of her eyes. Very subtle, sort of going from like a blue to almost a cerulean. But
that's
she's
cool.
doing it, yeah, she's doing it more or less to try and see if Brandy pings or not, because she figures that works both
Oh,
ways.
it does actually. You're right. Awareness, not awareness, kenning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. We're going to go with this dice pool because it makes sense. Yeah, I'd say she figured she noticed something there. 3 successes worth. As long as you're going to trust me on this one, because apparently my dice are not showing for some stupid reason.
You're the ST. I will trust whatever you say.
Yeah, she got like 1, 10, 8, 7, 6. That's
All
pretty
right.
respectable off 5 dice.
So yeah, you'll definitely feel sort of a wash, a very serene and sort of warm energy, kind of just like a sensation of warmth, almost like a warm breeze, but obviously has that tingle of magic to it.
with with 3, do I get a sense of location as well?
I
Of
would
around her
imagine
face,
so.
probably.
Yeah, I think location definitely, especially in the confined space. So I would say that yeah, you can probably just tell it was in her general direction, probably even centered around her completely.
Yeah, she is staring at her, probably as she turns around. You might even feel it as you're turning around because she's not trying to hide it. This isn't discreet.
And so Maggie will look back, and I'm guessing Brandy has an expression on her face like, ah,
She has
so.
yeah, she's like going, I don't know what this person is, but she just did something. That's pretty much what she's thinking. The only supernaturals she knows about at this point are werewolves and
Fair
their
enough.
kinfolk. She knows a
And the
lot about the
kinfolk.
kinfolk.
Damn it, Mega! Stop talking!
No, he didn't say that much. It's just she's picked up things. You know how it is. You hang out with someone long enough, you pick up a little bit.
Yeah. She'll, as she kind of sits back down, she has kind of a discerning look on her face as she is just kind of sort of subtly trying to eye Brandy.
So what did you just do? And she directly decides to just jump in.
Maggie kind of just smirks. I. So you are one of the sensitive people in this city.
Sensitive people, like I cry a lot.
Like supernatural.
Well, evidently you are.
Well, you felt what I did, so I would imagine that you have to have some sort of touch to it. Are you one of the people from the park?
No.
Oh,
I'm really not welcome there, I don't think. Or so I'm told.
really? I get, as long as I stay in certain areas, I'm allowed to jog through there during the day.
Yeah, well, never tried that. I don't know. But no, I'm not one of them.
You're not a vampire, are you? I mean, I was pretty sure we saw each other during the daytime.
She will open her mouth so you can see there are no fangs. But she has no idea how that really works, so. No, I mean, I'm kind of pale, but I'm not like that pale.
I don't know. I think your skin tone's a little bit deeper than mine.
True enough. But why are you questioning me? I haven't done anything. Why aren't you having to explain yourself?
Um, I hadn't thought this through clearly or fully. Um, just kind of stammer over her words. What do you want to know?
I mean, there are so many different people around. You're asking me what I am, and I've just said no about two different things.
That's all I really know about, actually. I know that people have told me that there are vampires, and I've seen the werewolves, so
Well, I could show you some things I can do, but then you won't remember it, so it won't really help.
actually, I might be able to.
I'm not going to be risking it. I'm pretty sure it works. So as far as I know, it works on everybody. Besides, I'm not very good anyway. I focus on my painting. I kind of tend to ignore a lot of other things.
Maggie kind of smirks a bit as she looks at Brandy. Do you like to see something I could do?
Well, I just felt something you did.
But you haven't picked up on what I did.
Well, I know it's somewhere, and she kind of waves in that the general area, like around her face, like it's somewhere up here.
And she'll smirk. Hmm?
Evidently, it's so discreet I can't even tell what.
She'll point at her eyes, which are just slightly off from the normal baby blues. They're a little bit more vibrant.
Why?
The direction of the conversation, I wanted to see if you were one of the people, one of the supernaturals of the city.
I know something about the owner of that club, yes. And we share some things in common. Not much, but some things.
I'm still a little lost, though I don't know if I want to push. Out of courtesy, I guess.
Does it change anything?
No? She kind of smiles. I'm having a great time. You're not the first supernatural I've met, and I really highly doubt you'll be the last. I mean, I met a Death Lord not too long ago.
What is a Death Lord?
I'm not really sure. It's just what somebody called it, and considering what I saw with a bunch of disembodied spirits, I think, I guess it was like a ferryman.
I don't know anything about that, so I can tell you that I am not a Death Lord.
You seem a little bit too bright and chipper for a Death Lord. The one I've met seems to be a bit more reserved, very close to the chest. Not unpleasant, but close to the chest.
Okay, well, fair enough. I don't tend to play things like that. I mean, there's certain things I don't sit there and share with somebody till I think it makes sense. But clearly, you're the same way.
She'll smile. Yeah, I. To be honest, I don't think it would have made much of a difference whether you had noticed it or not. I think I'd be willing to share some things, but not everything. Seems like secret societies are kind of like a real thing in this strange world.
Cults,
Cults,
families.
families, clans.
God, it's just sad. I'm not in a cult.
No, but that could be our code word.
That's a creepy code word, though. That just like it makes everybody get bad impressions a lot.
Well, I think we probably both use family a little bit on the regular, so
Yeah, you could actually say that club owners is actually family. That would be quite appropriate. She kind of
wait, really?
grins.
Really? Like he was
Yeah.
beautiful.
I've only ever seen him from a distance.
I was right there, like up, well, not up on him, but I was there.
I mean,
And
we're very different, but at least in some sense, yeah. We look nothing alike, obviously.
I don't know, you're pleasant on the eyes.
But you've only begun to see what his true beauty is.
Who, the other guy?
Hmm. Yeah. I will say I've had at least, I'm not going to say a lot of dealings with the people in the park, but I've met two, I guess you could say. Three. I've met three that I
Interesting.
know of. Yeah. Obviously, nobody invited me in.
You still met them. I mean, was it on good terms, or were they all like? And she makes kind of like a claw and kind of bares her teeth slightly, giving like a little playful growl.
She's doing that.
Yeah. No, it's more like because wolves don't.
Oh, but they might as well if we're making fun of them. Some of them don't growl like that. But no, it was just social, really. Um,
Maggie will nod. It's sort of the situation I met them in. Well, multiple situations with them. Met like a handful of them, actually.
hmm.
I guess one of them is in some sort of position of power.
Oh, okay. I don't know if what kind of positions the what that they were in. Honestly, I know what position the one was in, and it was definitely not power. And she sort of grimaces at that, by the way.
Maggie will kind of lean forward. What exactly? I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what does that mean?
It means that there are some people around connected to them, but they're not in charge. And by people, I mean actual humans.
Okay. Then the light goes on in Maggie's head. Oh, right.
Oh, right?
I've I've met some of the extended family, I think. Not sure.
Really?
Oh, it was like an apartment party, and there was a bunch of people there, and then like we were all, well, some of us anyway, were doing ecstasy, and I like blew on this girl's stomach, and then she she gets a little awkward and rosy cheeked as she kind of pauses and thinks of how to say it. The sensation was a bit too much for her. I think maybe too much too soon.
Maybe.
And she'll chuckle. But it was a good time. A really good time. They're not quite as fearsome as I thought they were when I first like heard about them.
Oh, I have no doubt they can be. I mean, come on, we've all seen movies of what they can do. But I don't. I have no idea how true the movies are. I mean, let's be real. So, I've met one of the extended family, as you put it, and yeah, I'm just saying he didn't exactly feel all that powerful from the impression I was getting. But out of courtesy to him, I'm not going to be going into too much detail about that.
No, no, I totally understand. That's fine.
I just got certain ideas, and he wouldn't say too much either. Just like all the members of secret societies.
Well, you know, in order to be part of a secret society, you have to have a secret decoder ring first.
And she looks down at her hands. Damn, I knew I missed something.
I have a ring whistle. That might count.
It's very strange.
Well, a lot of things are strange. Life is strange.
So, I don't normally do this out of the blue, but do you want to see a little bit of my world?
Is it going to hurt me?
Shouldn't.
Well,
It just opens your eyes.
Maggie shudders. Oh, I have been through a similar experience.
You think?
So,
You can say no. I won't do it. You can just, yeah.
I'm not sure if it's going to be as equivocal or not. What I had happen to me, and she holds out her hands, over Brandy's. What I had happen to me was, I'm going to say unequivocal, at least up until now. This could possibly just blow my mind away.
Certainly very different from what you usually see, I imagine.
I can see a lot of things, actually. Like I can
Maybe
see, and she'll kind of point, I can see, if I want to, energy.
energy.
It depends on where I'm at, but I can see sort of like if I wanted to, I could see the heat coming off of you, or sort of the current running through like the lamp over there.
I don't have abilities like that. But I could make that as she points at her wine glass.
Hmm.
I could make that move around without touching it.
I can too, but
But
probably
again, I'm not going to because I don't want to make you forget anything. It's a hazard of being what I am.
I like I said, I think I'm okay.
You might be, but do I want to risk it? Not right now.
Well, you said you were going to show me some of your world.
True, and I suppose I said I could. That is the other big hazard of it is that won't remember. You won't remember much of the next 24 hours.
Hmm. Will you promise to tell me what happened if I do forget?
As much as I'm around for, I mean, I can't guarantee I'm going to be here the next 24 hours. I have to work tomorrow.
That's too bad.
I'm, I, I make the offer, but I'm not forcing it on you.
She take a deep sigh in and then again just kind of open up her hands, palms down over Brandy's. Assuming that's what they're supposed to do.
She just kind of looks at her funny. Not just because if that's what she's assuming, like, okay, do it. Like, no.
Well, she's
Oh.
just like, I don't know how esoteric things work for everybody.
Is she still holding a wine glass?
Not currently.
No. Okay. Um. Then I'm gonna say she turns around and rummages in her let's say she has a purse of some sort and pulls out a piece of gum. And because you gotta have something to put it in. And well, I could force it on you. Do you want me to force it on you? There's no need.
Be
um
gentle, it's my first time.
oh, you're funny. And she will infuse a point of glamour into the gum and offer it to her.
Maggie will look at the gum and then place her fingers on it.
I'm not sure that's accepting it. Just putting fingers on it isn't the same as accepting it.
She'll tentatively put her fingers on it, and when nothing happens, she'll take it and unwrap it.
Right. As soon as you accept the gum, like that's when the world changes. Like you can start unwrapping it all you like, but and I'm not sure what the chimerical seeming of your apartment would be exactly. I mean, is it some sort of like an old Art Deco building or something, or is it just some
It's
ordinary?
an old, I guess it's kind of an Art Deco, so to speak, but it's, I mean, I don't know how much, like, the sort of the inspiration that she has when she works here sort of affects the
Okay.
dreaming.
Yeah, and it would. That's why I'm kind of what I'm trying to figure out here. I know she does a lot of art here, so it wouldn't be all that surprising to see, maybe some sort of maybe an easel that's sitting there with actual art that's sort of painting itself, or something like that. Maybe you can help me out with this because this is your apartment. Maybe the whole place.
What dreams may come seem like a good starting point.
I have so used that in scenes. Go to it. In fact, I used it for Brandy. I used that. I used that in the scene for now. We can totally use it again. It's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, whatever you want the chimerical to look like for you. I mean, basically, what you're seeing is two layers.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the mundane with this chimerical thing overlaid over it. And when you look at Brandy herself, she now has like horns. She has now goat horns. And if I could find out,
Satyr body.
yeah, but she's wearing a long skirt and boots. You don't see her legs at this point.
Okay.
So, but you do see the horns.
Maggie will just roll willpower real quick to not be startled. And wow, she's taking this really well, even if it is a high difficulty.
But by the way, I'm not seeing your dice either. That's kind of funny. I'm trusting you. It's cool. I'm just
Stupid dice stream.
yeah. I'm wondering if it's Hangouts that's all screwed up.
Oh, it's always Hangouts. Hangouts is like like an obstinate child.
There we go. That's better. Yeah.
She'll sort of kind of rear back only slightly, like she'll only recoil a little bit before she has that just kind of that look of wonder around her. I don't know how much of her like merits you'd be able to see. I'm guessing in the dreaming, probably her primal marks like brilliantly glow behind her.
We're not actually in the dreaming. We're still in the gray world. It's just that the dreaming and the gray world kind of overlay over each other.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't drag you into the dreaming. Trust me, that would be you can go into the dreaming now, but we're not going there at this point.
She'll
One step at a time, baby steps.
Never seen somebody, or I guess you've never seen the swimming lessons by Ken Titus.
No.
I'll tell you about it after the scene.
Yeah.
She leans forward and actually gets really close to Brandy and starts like inspecting the horns.
Brandy will tolerate it for like 30 seconds, and then she's gonna sort of lean back because it's just uncomfortable.
The moment that it looks like Brandy's getting uncomfortable, she'll obviously relent a bit and she'll kind of blink. Wow.
I'm gonna say you probably get a bit more of an alien shape to her face. Just a little bit. I don't think she has. I think they might have. I'm not sure if she has pointed ears or not, but I can't remember if satyrs have those or not.
She'll reach out and sort of just touch Brandy's arm, and just then sort of look around and look at her paintings, which are sort of coming to life. And her eyes go a bit wide, and she looks at the paintings, which are sort of animating themselves, and are all of my paintings going to do that? And she'll point at like the scenery, like the landscape, sort of like with a breeze going to it, and sort of animals and birds kind of moving along in the background.
Well, it's your painting, and you'll see it this way for 24 hours. I don't know if they all will, but it's it's the way I see the world. I see same thing you're seeing, one overlaid over the other.
That sounds like it's amazing, but at the same time problematic.
I guess that's true enough. But when you
uh,
live that way, you just get used to it.
by the way, is there a whatchamacallit, like, does magic show up in this, like, magical effects?
Oh, you mean like if you have something up, would I
Hmm.
notice it?
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
not unless that. I mean, I would get a kenning roll if you do something new or whatever. But
Okay, this is something she prepares in the morning. Um,
no, she doesn't have any particular chimerical thing. I mean, she still looks the same to herself. Like if she looks down, she looks the same as she did before.
okay. She'll kind of stand up and she'll hold out her hand to Brandy,
Mm-hmm.
and she'll
Yeah.
lead Brandy into what looks to be sort of like the side room, like the guest room. And there is a picture there, a painting with sort of a black cloth over it. And uh, she'll grab the curtain and pull it down, and it's almost like watching a paint animated home movie of her and Keith.
She's just following and watching at this point. Honestly, it's this. She's trying to let Maggie have her experience. That's what this is about.
She'll clutch Brandy's hand a little bit more tightly, and you can actually see like one or two tears kind of roll out of the corner of her eye. And she'll watch as her and Keith and some of their friends are sort of just goofing off at like a barbecue. And she'll sort of reach out and touch the canvas.
I should mention that any pictures you take right now won't show what you're seeing when you look at them later.
Oh, she says almost as if she was distracted.
But you could always get a journal or something, I suppose.
Maybe it's probably better that I don't remember all of this.
When the scene ends, I'll look up. I'll look up and see what your banality is, so you can figure out how much you remember.
Okay. She'll
Yeah,
she'll just smile. As nice as these are, as nice as this is, seeing him again like this is wonderful and heartbreaking.
this is your personal space. Everything here is going to be more personal to you. What the way you do things is going to affect the dreaming here.
The what?
The dreaming, you know how you're seeing like two worlds sort of overlaying each other? It's called the dreaming.
Well,
And there's a much bigger, like, straight dreaming place, but which you can go, but I think that's probably not appropriate right now.
she'll just turn and actually give Brandy a hug.
She'll hug her back. She's just like, by the way, What you are right now is called enchanted, so you know the right term for it.
Alright, so I'm enchanted.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's the only way that other people can see what we see. Well, not the only way, but the only way that you get any real lasting things that you might actually have a chance of remembering, which isn't much, by the way. It's not a high chance. In theory, it protects us.
Protects you from what?
Being undone.
She'll look at Brandy with kind of a quizzical look. What do you mean, undone?
I mean, basically, the whole forgetting thing protects us from being remembered, and therefore protects any enemies from actually remembering us, or makes it hard for them to find us, that sort of thing, because they don't remember. And that's what I mean by being undone, because too much of this, I'm not sure how to phrase it, too much of this world kind of stuff, the really mundane crap, can cause us to be undone. We'll just be humans.
I can see that, looking at all this, that would be like a fate worse than death, I think.
I suppose, except for that I won't really know it. I won't know what I'm missing. Because I'll forget. Obviously, I have no intention of letting that happen right now.
I would hope not. This is amazing.
Most people are just going to think you're high unless you start talking about too much weird shit.
In which case they'll think I'm crazy.
True. But just so you know, though, anything you're seeing around here, like, by the way, do you have any affinity with, out of character, does she have any affinity with any, like, say, types of animals or anything, plants, anything?
Plants, yes.
Okay, well, but any particular type of plant?
I hadn't given it much thought.
Okay, doesn't matter. I'm just going to say, you'll notice that this place is, in its chimerical version, probably it has a lot more of the things you like, including that sort of thing. And out there, you're going to see it's not all pretty and sparkles. There are a lot of dark things out there, too. They can attack you. They can kill you. They can mess with your mind. They can do whatever. They can poison you. And right now, the way you are being enchanted, you're weak to that. They can do that to you much more easily. And it's not like, I'm not saying that they're going to, but you should know the risk.
She'll look at the window and just draw the blinds closed very slowly.
No, it's actually fun. Like, you can go and party and whatever, but it's just something you should be aware of. There's always risks, right? Like, you said, you mentioned vampires. And those things in the park. Are they not risks?
The things in the park, maybe not so much. At least, as long as you mind your manners, I guess.
I'm just laughing out of character, because, yeah. But that's my point, though. Like, I can only imagine vampires to be some sort of monster. I could be wrong, but
Well, anything with fangs that drinks blood.
see, you made my point for me. If those are out there, wanting to drink our blood. I mean, and hell, there are humans out there that would mug us, steal our money, or try to rape us or something. There are
That's true.
monsters everywhere.
Some of them a bit more mundane than others.
Fair enough. But from what I'm saying, you might have ways of defending yourself that most people don't.
I can do things with energy. If I want to, I can create fire or guide fire, among other things. But
Oh. Well, since you're already enchanted now, I might as well show you what I can do, huh? Look at that. Actually, we're going to do something a little different than that. We're going to go with... Okay, so let's think. That's trying to figure out what the dice pool would be at this point. Come on, book. She's gonna... Well, there's an empty... There must be an empty wine glass someplace around here. Although that's in the other room. So, what? We're in an extra bedroom? Is there, like, say, I don't know, an alarm clock on the table?
yeah,
Okay, that's works. That's pretty small. So she doesn't want to like do anything too weird. Either that I can do it on you. That'd be fun. Let's try that. It's gonna be a small dice pool. No worries. See. I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing this right because I'm not used to doing this on a person. Because you actually get a roll against if you want to do it. So it's up to you. Oh, what does mage fall under? Ugh. Doesn't matter. We'll do it differently. You're wearing pants, right?
yeah. Well,
There you
shorts.
go. Shorts. We'll do it on the shorts. That's prop.
Okay.
I know it sounds so weird. Oh my god! I actually got 3 successes on that shit. All right. That's only 3 dice. Okay. 3 dice, 3 successes. I get 8, 6, 8. Basically, the clothing is going to attempt to jump you up, and you can roll willpower against that if you want to try to stop it from doing so.
No, she won't stop it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna just cut it back because I really wasn't trying to jump you 2 stories straight up. That's a bit much. We're just gonna take 1 success out of that because it doesn't make sense to really like. But that's only 5 feet.
The hell, Brandy?
She's just gonna look over at her. Yeah, and I don't have a bunk to use at the moment, so she will be spending a point of glamour actually to do this. And all of a sudden it feels like the shorts are going up, and it's taking you with it.
She'll go a bit wide-eyed and sort of grab at the legs, like the cuffs of the shorts, so that way they don't ride up too much.
And they go, yeah, you're jumped about 5 feet up, and then you sort of fall back down. I'm assuming that 5 feet isn't that big of a thing. You're fine.
I'll
But
roll a Dex Athletics just because it'd be funny if she fails or botches.
oh god, I can't believe I got that on 3 dice. And I wish dice worked in here. That would be swell.
So people can bear witness.
Well, we can make it. People see these rolls.
She lands, but not gracefully. She kind of lands and stumbles, and she'll sort of stumble forward a bit, and she'll nod. Okay.
It's a small effect, but it can be useful at least to distract people or something.
She'll hold out her hand again.
She'll take it.
And she'll pull out a marker from her from her pocket, and she'll, on her forearm, draw what looks to be like a lightning bolt.
On my arm or her own?
Her own arm.
Okay.
And she essentially sort of channels that sensation when somebody is like walking around in like feety pajamas on carpet.
Aw, static.
So yeah, she doesn't like shock Brandy, but like that sort of like when you put your hand on one of those science orb tower things at like a science museum or whatever that causes your hair to kind of go out.
Mm-hmm. I remember it.
Yeah.
Coastside has one.
Yeah.
Which is near here.
She'll do that. And you kind of feel the tingle go through your body as she kind of lets it flow off of her for one on effect because she doesn't actually want to shock you, and the other 3 on duration.
Fair enough. It's kind of like I threw off on mine.
Yeah.
Going on.
So yeah, she basically kind of gives Brandy a little static tickle.
She's like, yeah! Because nobody likes that feeling.
And as I'm guessing Brandy pulls her hand away.
Well, yeah, probably just a natural thing.
Yeah. Maggie will kind of smirk as she looks up, and she can kind of see, like, you know, just in her peripheral vision, like her hair standing on end.
Okay, I get it. We can prank each other.
I am so glad that you went up with my shorts and not down.
Well, you were on the floor. Going down is difficult when you're on the floor. Besides, with that effect, it could either only go up or sideways, and I didn't want to ram you into the bed. And out of character, 30 feet sideways.
That would hurt.
Yeah, a little bit. You would have rammed into that and possibly a wall after that. I think it would just be bashing, but like really.
I can see her like, you know, just jerking to one side, her legs hitting the bed, and then she does like a cartwheel over it. That's totally out of her control if that happened. Damn it, Brandy!
That was only Wayfair 1. Next step is Quicksilver, the hated Quicksilver.
Maggie will just kind of smile as she dispels the static charge and just, you know, kind of just smiles at Brandy like this has been like really amazing for Maggie.
Did you want to go for a walk? See what the world looks like? I mean, I go out there all the time and I see this stuff.
Are people still gonna see me like regular people?
You're not invisible.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to make you. If you want to hide in a corner, you can, but it's not necessary.
I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I have a fairly nice tour guide, I think.
I did do it with permission. I'm just making note here.
She'll offer out an arm to Brandy.
Yeah, she'll take it.
So you can show me the world.
Shining, shimmering, splendid.
Something like that, yeah.
I'm not Jasmine. Although, wait, actually, you're more Jasmine. I'm the one who's showing you the world. As she kind of walks next to her.
She'll chuckle. I'm more than happy to be Jasmine.
I'd rather be Jasmine than Aladdin. Well, Aladdin gets to do more stuff, but he's a guy, and I'm not a guy.
Life 3 effect. I'm going to try something here.
Please don't make me into a guy.
No, I don't have that kind of power.
God.
Spend a point of willpower. This would be difficulty 6. Oh, yeah. So as she's standing there, her hair very subtly at first, like from the root, begins to bleed with sort of a blackness, and it sort of goes from root slowly at first, and then kind of quicker and quicker until her hair turns like crow feather black.
Okay. She's
And
like, she'll watch it and just be like, okay,
see,
got it.
now I'm Jasmine.
Well, it needs to be longer, and you need a little tiara.
I don't want to push it. I really don't want to push it.
It's okay. I'll forgive you. Just gonna say around you can see a wide variety of different things, all kinds of strange random chimera. But you don't know that they're chimera, you just know they're weird things. You might be able to guess they're spirits of some sort.
I don't have spirit, so I'm going to say no.
Okay, then you just know there's some weird shit going on, because she hasn't told you the word chimera yet.
Yeah.
I'll just... I mean, there's a lot of things that are just strange and bizarre, like, say you see a flying car fly by. I mean, it's like, you might even be the identical car from Harry Potter. Who knows?
She'll look up. Wow. Ron and Harry. Huh.
Oh, well. They must be busy. I don't see them in the car.
Well, that car did fly around on its own, didn't it?
Yeah, well, it did, so it fits, yes. It's even still dented from the Whomping Willow. That's interesting. She kind of watches as it goes by. And by the way, you notice that some of the people around you are looking at them like, what the hell are they looking at? Because, we're out in the street, I suppose, by now.
Maggie will just kind of be humming the Whole New World tune as they start to look.
But there's also some really creepy things going on, like, well, if we're going to go the Harry Potter theme, let's go the Harry Potter theme. Remember Nearly Had This Nick? Something like that, but gorier. Kind of flitters by and kind of looks almost hungrily at both of them. And then
Maggie will kind of cling to Brandy.
Not funny like the real Nearly Headless Nick, who's actually a pretty cool character.
Nearly Headless Nick.
Nearly Headless Nick. Yeah, just something, I'm running out of ideas because it's far too late at night for me to be thinking straight. Yeah. But you get the idea. You're not just seeing pretty stuff. There's also dark stuff. It's a mixed blessing being able to see all this stuff.
Maggie, for her part, will react appropriately. I mean, to stuff that she's never seen before, with that is enticing with wonder, and things that are frightening. She'll.
And at some point, Brandy will actually look at her and just be like, "Keep in mind that they can't see this stuff, so you have to be discreet."
She'll raise a brow.
They will think you're crazy. You will end up in the loony bin. The psych ward at the hospital.
Not exactly my strong suit. I'll promise to try, though.
Okay, because I don't want you to get in trouble over this. I don't want to have to break you out of someplace.
She pauses and looks. You do that for me?
If I had to. It's my fault you're in this situation.
That's almost sweet.
Almost, huh? No, I mean, if I can't do it, I can probably find someone who can help me. I suppose I could just jump you out the window.
You could. I don't know what would happen when I hit the ground, but...
We'll just hope it's a lower floor. Does that work?
Sure. She'll chuckle.
And honestly, I should probably get going anyway because it's really getting late.
Yeah.
But yeah, just
I don't
kind
want
of
to.
leave them wandering the city.
Well, she'll ask something. She'll, as they sort of head back to her apartment, she'll finally, as she gets to her door, she'll look at Brandy. Could I take you out to dinner, like later this week?
After seeing the world straight again.
After seeing the world straight again, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a fun night.
Maggie will smile very genuinely, and she'll give Brandy a hug before she steps back and sort of punches in her door code, or at least until the door code machine itself goes, "Hey, be gentler." Her hand kind of comes back. She's like, "Oh," and very gently presses the buttons.
Really, consider getting something to write down at least some the important things on.
I will do my best. I'm kind of interested to see what TV looks like here in the dreaming.
Oh, honestly, it looks mostly the same.
That's disappointing. Oh well.
It's a little too banal to be changed in many ways, but I still watch it anyway.
All right. Well, thanks for coming over, and good night.
Good night. Remember, just discreet.
I'll stay home. And Maggie will smile one last time and disappear into the building.
And Randy will just kind of look around going, this isn't what I planned for my night. But hey, it's better than listening to an argument about pizza.
And I think there we
And she
can.
will turn away, yeah.
I think there we can call that a scene.
Yes.